Hello viewers, in this session we are going to cover type of collateral shares. This is part 1. When we talk about shares, let us understand that advance should be productive purpose and not speculative purpose when the funds are being provided. Either demand loan or a working capital against shares can be given. Charge creation is by way of a pledge and shares should be in demat form only, not in physical form. And against it has to be given by the actually fully paid shares and not against the shares of a private limited company. Obviously, the shares of private limited company are not transferable. Now, let's look at some of the limits. As per Banking Regulation Act 1949, no banking company shall hold shares in any company, whether as pledge, mortgage or absolute owner of an amount exceeding 30% of the paid up share capital of that company or 30% of its own paid up capital and reserves, whichever is less. Remember, whichever is less. Now, this applies to both direct exposure and indirect exposure. Now, banks' exposure to the capital market, when we talk, that it is basically direct investment in shares, debentures or bonds, advance against shares, debentures and bonds, advance for any purpose against security of shares, debentures and bonds. So, advances for any other purpose to the extent secured by collateral security of shares, debentures and bond. So, secured and unsecured advances to the stockbrokers. Now, as we look at the loan aspect, bridge loans are given to the company against the expected equity flows or issues. This is a common practice in the capital market. So, underwriting commitments taken by the banks in respect of primary issue of shares or debentures or bonds or financing to stockbrokers for margin trading and all exposure to the venture capital funds. So, these are the things which are inclusive as far as banks' exposure to the capital market is concerned. Now, let's check what we learned. When bank finances against security of shares, the charge is generally created by way of hypothecation, mortgage, pledge, assignment. Answer is C, that is pledge in a depository system. Next question. Out of the following, which one is example of bank's exposure to capital market? Finance to venture capitals, finance to Siemens company for working capital, finance to chartered accountant working as a stockbroker, D, A and C above. The answer is D, that is A and C above. That means finance to venture capital funds and finance to chartered accountant working as a stockbroker. So that is important. That is something in the market, that is a stockbroker. It is in the form of true or false. There is a cap on banks' direct investment in shares, debentures and bonds. True or false? Answer is obviously A. So we covered part 1 of the shares as a collateral. We turn to the part 2 now.